From the sound of my voice or the fact that I've been away for a week, you might have realised that I've not been uploading very much because I've been in Atlanta, Georgia. This past weekend, I attended the World Championships of Warhammer, and not only did I bring back a cold, I brought back great shame to my family. I attended the World Championships of Warhammer after winning an event at Warhammer World and securing myself a golden ticket, which included full travel and hotel paid for at the World Championships, which was a huge event run by Games Workshop, which had people from over 40 countries attending to compete to be the best person at Warhammer in the whole world. And it's safe to say that definitely wasn't me. I went to this competition with high hopes to do pretty well. I consider myself a pretty good player, but after this weekend, it's definitely probably been a bit of an eye-opener. I took what I thought was a pretty good list. I took a Blood Angels list. I actually did a member vlog about my list with the full breakdown. There was an article on Goonhammer going over my list, but essentially it had one trick in mind. It dropped 18 Inceptors anywhere on the board it fancied and then threw Death Company at you. On the face of it, I thought this list was pretty strong, and I do still think this list is pretty strong, but there were some serious flaws that it had, and the problem was, ironically, me, I don't know if this is the same for every YouTuber that does Warhammer stuff, but especially me, because I'm constantly making content or doing like tournament organization or other things, actual time to practice is actually like few and far between. To practice like real competitive events or like real competitive games, because I play Warhammer a hell of a lot. I play Warhammer at least twice a week, probably most weeks, if not once a week. But I play Warhammer quite a lot, and I talk about Warhammer all the time, and I breathe Warhammer. And I know everything about it, you know, I know every weird rules interaction because, you know, I like to tell you about them. I know generally what the top armies do and how they function. But actually practicing against those top armies is actually few and far between, because trying to make content whilst also trying to compete, whilst also trying to organise tournaments is actually quite a lot. And I think that really shows in my performance at this event, because I took a list that, whilst I thought on paper was pretty good, I didn't actually get to practice it or put it on the table once before I went to this event. And my first opponent was Quinton Johnson of Art of War, who is an excellent player, an absolute star. And yeah, whilst that was a hard game because I was against Eldar, it didn't get much easier from there. A lot of these armies that I know about, I haven't actually played against in their current iteration. So a lot of their tricks, whilst I'm aware of them and how they appear on the tabletop, is very, very different. And also when you're playing a list that you feel like is pretty good but hasn't quite performed just yet, it can be a bit of a Debbie Downer. Now, the World Championships of Warhammer is split into two stages. You have the pod stage, and then you have essentially the bracket stage. The pod stage is a 5-round GT of 20 odd players, and the winner of that GT will go into the top 8, and everyone else will go into the world bracket. And the world bracket is essentially take your win record from the previous pods you've been in, put everybody from every pod in the same bracket, and then they all play each other. You know, they play another 3 games after that, and then you get winners and losers in each of those pods. Now, in the pod stage, I initially wanted to get a positive win record over the event as a whole, just to like make that super clear. In the pod stage, I got a single draw, and in the bracket stage, I got a single win. So I ended up going 1-1-6, which is pretty, let's be honest, it's pretty piss poor. I do feel like that every single game came down to the wire. I feel like every single game came down to like the last card draw, or the last charge roll, or the last saving throw, and I have all the scores to prove it. Whereas you can see that every score is neck and neck until my opponent scored like 30 points on primary in the last 2 turns. And that was kind of the killer. That kind of like really did a number on me. I think there's only one game where I was super tired and I didn't concentrate against Grey Knights, and they absolutely floored me. And I think there's lots of things that I could probably blame my performance on. I could blame it on the fact that I got ill pretty much as soon as... I'm still ill now. I got ill as soon as I got there. I arrived the night before the event, and the event started quite early, and I didn't like get a lot of sleep the night before, and that was kind of like a compound effect of not sleeping for the rest of the week, because I travelled from the UK to Georgia, which is not a short flight, and there's a 5-hour time difference, and I never really like adjusted until the one day I got a win. That was the only day I got a full night's sleep. So I could blame it on the fact that I was ill, and then I could blame it on the fact that I was super tired. But I can also just really, I have to boil it down to that what I was starting to think was that maybe I'm just not cut out to be one of the best players in the world. Maybe I'm not just quite cut out to be like a player that is like competing in competition to do super well. Maybe I need to like stop trying to be an event organizer, to be a streamer, to be an event, to do event coverage, and be like someone who goes out and tries to win competitions. And maybe I like need to stick in my lane. And that's kind of when I tweeted on Friday night. That was kind of like the headspace I was in. And it was a bit weird because I think humbling is the best word. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are absolutely thriving on the fact that I went and got humbled so hard. And I'm sure you're having the best time, and I'm sure that you are functioning in society very well. But I think the fact is that I didn't really practice for this event, not through like confidence or like big-headedness. I just didn't get chance. I settled on my list like 2 days before the event, and then I bought it, and then I built it and painted it, and I literally finished painting it the day before I flew. Now normally that was probably going to be okay, but this event, which is probably a lot different than anything I've ever experienced, is that in a normal tournament, when you play a game, you get paired in someone random. And let's say you randomly get paired in to someone who's favourite to win. They win loads of tournaments and they're favourite to win. And you don't win. That's okay. You know, that happens to me all the time. It happens to everybody all the time. And then the next round, you get paired into the second favourite to win who actually lost their first game. And you're like, bro, can't catch a break here. And then the third game, you get paired into someone who's favourite to win. And that's something you kind of have to like realise, is that whilst my win record was really poor, and it was making me to start to think that maybe I can't be bothered to try and compete in tournaments anymore. Maybe I should just go back to just laughing at the internet and covering events and playing fun games with friends. This event had like 170 odd of the best players in the world, whether they got best overall at their event, whether they won a GT, whether they qualified multiple times. Every single person is like a super strong player. And there are no easy games. You aren't going to drop down into easier matchups to ride back up and do the old, oh, I lost the first game, so now I'm going to submarine. There is like no opportunity for that, because you're playing some of the some of the strongest players from around the world. Like, they're all in one room. I think, yeah, I could play my list. I could sit here and go, yeah, it was all my list's fault because I had a really bad list and never got my foot back on the gas and like started like rising up again. But ultimately, I just not practiced enough with the list, with its flaws, and I not practiced enough against some of the more current builds of lists. Like I kind of got into the event thinking I was going to be playing Eldar for 8 games in a row, and I played Chaos multiple times. I played World Eaters twice, and I've only played against World Eaters. I've actually never played against World Eaters in 10th, but I've played against them twice this event. I think what this event did was it really, really humbled me and made me think maybe competition isn't for me. But then I kind of like just went, wait a minute. I made it, you know? I went to the World Championships of Warhammer. I wasn't invited. I wasn't going because I whipped out my YouTuber card and slapped it on the door. You know, I didn't go because of the face or the mugging or my reputation. I went because I went to an event and I won 6 games and I won a ticket to go, which is something that kind of like made me realise. And I spoke to a lot of other players from around the event who, like friends of mine, people I played in tournaments, people I've met online, and kind of like asking how they were getting on. And not everybody was doing super well. There were obviously some players that were doing really well. But some players that I thought were going to win their pod didn't. Some players that I thought were going to win all but one game lost half of their games. It was kind of something that just made me realise that, wait a minute, it's okay if I'm losing. All I need to do is just keep my head up and enjoy the experience. And I did. I played like 8 fantastic people. I had 8 really close games. And I had 8 fantastic opponents that were like super nice to play and really enjoyable to play. And I didn't lose because I made a mistake. I didn't lose because they called me out. I lost because of like a dice roll or because of like I just got outplayed, you know? Like yeah, it's kind of hard to trying to keep your head up when you lose 7 plasma inceptors to overcharging, when in the previous game you already lost 6 and killed nothing. It is kind of tough, but I made it, and I played people from all around the world. I played people from the US, I played the people from Canada, I played people from France, and I played someone from Thailand, which was like really exciting, and it's really cool to like play all these people from around the world. And whilst normally if I'd been humbled to the normal event where it's just 200 normal people turning up to a tournament and I went one win, 1 draw and 6 losses, then maybe I would be hanging up my YouTuber card and calling it a day. But actually being able to go to this event and experience this once in a lifetime or first in the world type event, it's actually just made me want to like be even better. I'm actually not going to sit here and wallow in self-pity. Listen, the first person I play in the tournament next, you better be ready, because I am not going to hold back. I'm going to be training. I'm going to be in the hyperbolic time chamber, just fighting away, just training so hard, because this time I'm not going to go to the World Championships of Warhammer and be embarrassed like I was this time. I am going to qualify again. I am going to turn up and I am going to smash every opponent nicely. I'm going to smash every opponent, and that is my goal now. A long time ago, we did a thing called the Best in Faction Challenge, and the Best in Faction Challenges was me and a few other people from the team. We played loads of bar reports, played the same army because we were trying to be the best in faction of our army, and that is something that I'm going to be doing again from January. I've already booked a bunch of events next year, but from January I'm going to be playing the same army. I do anyway, but I'm going to be playing the same army with the goal or the intention to become the best in my faction, whether that's in my country, whether that's in worldwide rankings, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to be using the ITC rankings to try and become the best Space Marine player in the world. That is the plan. Everyone else will start jumping ship when the other codexes come out and Space Marines aren't that good, but I will continue to play them, and I'll continue to chisel that army book and chisel that codex until I can get the best list possible and I become the best Space Marine player in the world. That is the game plan. I encourage you all at home to join me. If you are a member and part of the Discord, you can support the channel by becoming a member for as little as £1.99 a month. If you're part of the Discord, I'm going to, in the next few months, I'm going to open up a Best in Faction channel, and we're going to start chiseling those armies together. I think as a community we can all push ourselves to write better army lists, to play better, to become high performing players and get the best in our faction. That is the game plan. That is something that I'm looking to do in 2024, because I don't want to go to another event and go on 1-6. I can't think of anything worse. But I think overall, I think I was initially really disappointed in myself, as I said on Twitter, as I said in my members vlog about the event. But now I'm just like, I thought I was going to come home and be really disappointed in myself. I've actually just come home and been like, why don't you play more games? Why don't you get more games in now? Why don't you go to another tournament? I actually like almost bought a ticket to a tournament this weekend, but I'm really sick, so I probably shouldn't go. But I'm just like, maybe the problem isn't you're not good enough. Maybe the problem is that I just didn't try hard enough. And I don't want to do that again. So thanks for watching. That's what happened at the World Championships of Warhammer. Congratulations to Manny Chima and Boris Mitchell from the UK, who got best overall and best general in 40k, and also to Tom Maudsley, who got best second place in Age of Sigmar. It truly did come home for England, and maybe next time I'll be helping too. So thanks for watching. I'm actually going to be live again tomorrow because I've got some cool things to talk about. I'm sure you'll understand when I'm live there, live at 10 AM, and then normal service will resume, and hopefully my voice will catch up soon. So thanks for watching. You're all amazing. Thanks for your support, and I literally couldn't be here without you. So thanks and goodbye for now.